don't just settle with the first school that offers you a contract. It's Hagwon in Korea, and today I am here to tell you about what you need to do before you sign a contract at a private school in Korea. So I work at a private school. I've never worked at a public school before, so this video is geared towards private schools, but even if you want to work at a public school, I feel like there might be useful information in this video for you, so stay right where you are. So first things first, you've just had your interview with this school. The school seems to really like you, and now within hours they're offering you a contract, and you're like, yes, this is a moment I've been waiting for. Like, you're ready to give a speech, you're ready to thank everybody, you're going to Korea. But first, stop right there, because my first advice that I want to give to you is don't just settle with the first school that offers you a contract. Don't do it. If the school seems really good, then obviously go ahead and do it. But I feel like a lot of teachers, they just get that first contract and they're like, I never thought I'd even get a contract, like I should just sign this right now, and they just sign it pretty quickly without even really thinking about it. So before I got my first teaching job in Korea, I think I got like one other contract, and that school looked sketchy AF. Like, it was a sketchy school. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna sign with you. So then after like having that experience with the sketchy school, and I was like, I definitely don't want to end up at a job like that. So then when I got a contract for my next school, I was just so desperate. I was like, oh, well, this doesn't look so bad, I'll just sign it right now. And you know, I'm not gonna say my first school was terrible. It wasn't the best school in the world, but you know, we're not here to talk about that. All I want you to know is that when you get that first contract, there are things that you need to do before you just sign the contract. Like, there are lots of things that you should think about before signing the contract. So number one, before you sign the contract, look up the school. I feel like that seems obvious, but don't just type the school into Google. Like, there's a website for blacklist Hagwon, so you can just Google that, and then you can type in your Hagwon, see if it pops up. If it doesn't pop up, then there's a lot of like Facebook groups for teaching in Korea, and people love to just rant about their job or talk about their job. So if you join that group, then you can just really easily put in like, hey, does anybody know this school, and insert the name of the city here. Has anybody ever worked here? What's your experience? Blah, 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 blah. So it's so important to do this, to like look up your school on the blacklist websites. There are so many Facebook groups for teaching in Korea. So just any teaching in Korea group that seems to have a lot of people in the group, I would just say join that group and start posting like, have you heard of this school? Have you heard of this school? I'm not gonna guarantee, but there's a very good chance that somebody would have heard of this school before or worked there, or somebody would have posted about this school on the blacklist. And if you find this school on the blacklist, obviously you're not gonna work there. There will be a nice long article about all the reasons why you shouldn't work there, and once you read that article, you're gonna know. So my first school was a franchise. It's a very popular franchise. The franchise is Poly, and Poly can be very organized. It just really depends on who's running the school. But even if your school is organized, it's going to be so much work, because the hours are usually from like 9:30 to 7:30 are typical hours, and you're teaching so many classes in that day. And so to be honest, I did look up just the franchise of my school, but I didn't look up my specific school, and I didn't type in the Facebook groups or anything like that. So I kind of just went in there blindsided. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and I wish I would have known. So advice number two is, after you've had this interview, make sure if you're working through a recruiter, you either get in contact with your recruiter or you ask the school directly itself, can I speak with a current teacher working at the school? I cannot stress this enough. I did not do this, and I think this is so important, because who else is going to give you great advice? There's no better person to give you great advice than somebody working at the school who's been there. And so I think it's just very important. Like, you can ask them any questions. People love to rant. Even if they love their job, they have complaints about it. So you're gonna wanna hear about those complaints from somebody who works at the school, right? So you can ask them, hey, can I see what your apartment looks like? Can you take pictures? What are things that you like, don't like? How is it getting around the city? What are things that are by the apartment? What's the school really like? And I feel like they will probably tell you honestly. Like, if somebody were to ask me about my current school now, and I like my current school, but I'm gonna list out all the things that I feel like are good and all the things that I feel like are bad, because some people can handle more than others, or some people are able to, you know, deal with things better than other people. And so even if I'm able to deal with the bad things, somebody else might not be able to deal with them. So I would definitely not just be trying to make my school sound like this perfect place, because no place is perfect. So I'm gonna list out all the benefits and all of the, what do you call the other thing? Negatives? You guys get what I'm saying. So I would list out all of the good things and all of the bad things, and then the person can make the decision like that way on their own. And trust me, I too love to talk, obviously. So I would write out a whole book for somebody who asked about my specific school. So I feel like a lot of other teachers would do the same. And another thing to look out for is if this teacher just seems like they're giving you a very scripted answer, be careful. Like if they just seem ungenuine, that can also be a problem, because some schools, they kind of pick one person to be a person who they're going to give the email to of the person who wants to talk to somebody at the school. And so a lot of jobs will be okay with it, just like, oh yeah, just tell them whatever, you know. But some schools will be like, yeah, okay, they're going to email you, and when you send an email back, you also need to send it to us so we know exactly what you're saying to them. And I feel like if that happens, then the person's answer is going to be more scripted, and so you should look out for that, because that person is going to be worried about, like, I'm obviously not going to say anything negative because then my job would know what I'm saying. And also, like, if the person has nothing negative to say about their Hagwon, if you know anybody like that, please tell me, because I'm looking for a place that somebody has nothing negative to say about that place. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, I like my job now, and every job has negatives. So if somebody's not telling you anything negative about the job, that's also a problem. Thing number 3 is, I feel like you need to negotiate before you sign this contract. I am not a negotiator, and I regret not negotiating throughout my first contract. But one of the things about private schools is they like to not pay people. I don't know what's going outside my window right now. But anyway, one of the things about private schools is they like to not pay people the amount that they should be getting paid. So I have friends who worked at private schools before, and they were working just as many hours as me or more. And they were getting paid 2.1 for working from like 9 to 7:30. 2.1 million won. That's like maybe on a good day, $1,900 in America. And then when you think about, you know, your air conditioning getting taken out, your utilities, your phone bill, just any other bills you have, it comes down to like $1,700, $1,600. Excuse me, that's nothing. In my personal opinion, if you are working 9 hours and the job is only giving you 2.1 million won, you need to negotiate that right now. Even if you don't have actual teaching experience, you use anything that you have. If you have lots of experience with kids, you need to bring that up. And if you have experience working at camps or tutoring, just anything that you can do to make yourself seem more marketable and to make it seem like they need to give you more money. So obviously they've probably already seen all these things on your contract, but if they're offering you an amount of money, they kind of just assume, oh, we're gonna offer this amount and people are just gonna sign the contract and that's what we're gonna pay them. No, I guarantee this Hagwon is making about $1,200 per student who goes to their Hagwon. So they definitely have the money to pay you more than 2.1 million won. And they need to be giving you more than that. But if you just sign the contract without negotiating, then they are going to just pay you that. So I would send the contract back. If you have a recruiter, send it through your recruiter, be like, I would like to be paid 2.3 instead of 2.1. And there's also a good chance, because a lot of Hagwons are kind of desperate for teachers. So if they're like, oh, we really need this teacher pretty much now, they're probably not gonna argue with you. So you should just try to get that money. Like, who's trying to be out here working, you know, your butt off for hardly anything, a bunch of pennies? Like, no, you need to negotiate. Like, if you've got that confidence and that energy, then use it. Like, get the amount of money that you deserve, because you're gonna be working your butt off. And when you see a paycheck that really comes down to only like $1,900, you're gonna be upset, like, I'm telling you. Hey everyone, I'm back again. My friend had come to visit me, and so she stayed for a couple of hours. So it's dark outside now, but you know, whatever. So the last point that I wanted to mention before my friend came was that when it comes to holidays, you need to make sure you check with your school and ask your school about the holidays that you're going to be getting. And I feel like this is important because a lot of like Hagwons will say you're gonna get all red days, which means any public holiday in Korea you should have off. But my first school said that in the contract, and then when it came down to it, I did not have every red day off. There was at least 2 or 3 red days that I had to work, even though I was told that I would have these red days off. So I think one thing that would be kind of helpful would be asking for like the school calendar list. So I feel like every Hagwon probably has like a calendar for the school year that's going to tell you every single day that you're gonna have off. Like my school has a calendar and they mark the days in red for the days that we don't have to work. So I can know exactly what days I need to come to work and what days that I don't need to come to work. So I feel like it would be important to ask your future Hagwon for this list so that you can for sure check if you're gonna have these holidays off or not. And then another thing I think is important is not only do you need need to check the public holidays. You also need to check the vacation times that they're going to give you. So some Hagwons will say like, oh, you'll have 5 days in the winter and then 5 days in the summer for vacation time. And that seems normal, right? If you're talking about 5 business days or 5 working days, that seems like, you know, not that bad. Like most Hagwons give that plus public holidays. And so that's what my current Hagwon gives me. So I'm like, okay, that seems fine and normal. But my first Hagwon said this, and what they meant was in the winter time, I would have 5 working days off. So when you include weekends, that ends up being about 9 days off. And so for summertime, I also thought it would be the same. Like I thought I would get 5 working days off. That's not what happened. Instead, I had 5 days off, including the weekend. So that meant 3 working days off and then 2 days in the weekend. And I was like, are you serious? So I think it's important to check if your contract says you're gonna have 5 working days off, or if it's just gonna be 5 days. And if it just says 5 days, you need to confirm that it's gonna be 5 working days. Because if you're only gonna get 5 days off, including the weekend, that's like nothing. You can't even, like, you can go places, but it's so rushed and you deserve more time off. All right, so I think those are the things that I think are most important when it comes to what you need to check or what you need to look out for before you sign a contract with a Hagwon. I'm sure there's many other important things, but I kind of made this video off the top of my head. So if I think of any more things, I will either answer your questions in the comment section down below if you have any, or I will make another video. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.